Good day, dear parents. Welcome to the Phonics Super Reader Workshop. I really appreciate that you've taken this amazing step towards helping your child get a positive head start and teach them learn to read. So this is a pre-session video recording for day one. And I request you to go through the entire video, the entire presentation, absorb the information that is provided in the video before you attend the day one session live. So I'm going to start the PowerPoint presentation here. All right. So as I said, this is a pre-session recording. Okay. And I want you to understand the background behind what are the different methods that are taught in school, which are ineffective and redundant, and because of which children today are struggling to read and spell, and how you as your child's parent can take charge towards your child's future. We'll also be talking about uh, the method that we are going to share in the next 2 days of this workshop. So please do not skip any of the session in this video and just go through the entire recording that I'm providing to you. So before I start with the presentation, let me introduce myself, because you're going to work with me over the next 2 days for the workshop. So my name is Imran Sherwa. I'm a father of a beautiful daughter named Alia, and I've been a teacher for the last 12 years. Now, as a young child, reading and spelling were always a challenge for me. And so was expressing my ideas and thoughts in speaking and writing. Now, this daily struggle led me having low self-confidence and self-esteem. And to make things worse, I had no help available to overcome my challenges. And my parents were helpless too. So after I became a teacher, I knew there were hundreds and thousands of children just like me who were struggling every day at school with this very important and critical skill of reading. And I knew I had to find a solution. So after spending nearly 2 to 3 years doing research, looking into scientific studies and published reports on reading, I created this system of teaching the skill of reading. Now, it's the same method through which you can teach your 2-year-old toddler to read, and you can even train an old struggling learner, whatever their age is, to become confident and champion readers by just following my 10 minutes a day system. Now, this is the same program through which I taught my 2.5-year-old daughter Alia to read. So over the last 10 years, our mission has been to reach out to 1 million parents and learners across the globe, and to help these parents transform their children into confident, fluent, champion super readers and spellers. So till date, we've reached more than 82,000 parents, and those parents across 24 countries have used our exact same system that I'm going to share with you with their children with 100% results. Now the question is, can you really teach a 2-year-old child to read? Now, a lot of times parents and people are very skeptical that this is not possible, because a child learns to read probably after 4 years or 5 years when they go to school. But this is not true, because I've taught my daughter Alia to read at the age of 2.5 years. So she was probably my first student on whom I did a lot of experiments and trial and error methods. But yes, it is absolutely possible. So Alia was reading 3-letter words confidently with ease at the age of 2.5 years. She had a vocabulary of 1500 plus words by the age of 3, where she could confidently read road signs, menus, advertisement hoardings, and books. At the age of 3.5 years, she had the reading ability of a 9-year-old. Yes, parents, a child who is just about to enter school, she had the reading ability of a 4th grade child, where she could read and spell complex long words and sentences effortlessly without any rote memorization. So people always used to wonder when I used to share my daughter's video of her reading confidently. A lot of people from social media, my friends, my family, they used to tell me that your daughter is God gifted. She's a smart child. She's born smart and she's exceptional. This is not possible for every child. So this is what people used to tell me. But I want to ask you, does a smart child learn to read early, or does learning to read early makes a child smart? Now, this is a very a question which you need to reflect, and I'm going to back this up with a small research with a small research study which says that a child who starts learning to read early at the early years of his or her life, they have a +4 IQ, a +4 in their IQs, which is their intelligent quotient. So a child who starts learning to read early have an advantage of adding a +4 score to their IQs or intelligent quotient. So it is proven that a child who starts learning to read early, they become smart. They tend to grow up becoming smart and intelligent. So I want you to think about this. Now let's talk about this very important concept of Matthew effect in reading. Now in sociology, Matthew effect refers to the phenomenon where the rich is getting richer and the poor becomes poorer. Now here, instead of dealing with wealth, it is the reference to the reading abilities of children, where the good readers become better at reading and they have a gapping advantage over poor readers. So children who learn to read early, they develop superb reading skills. Through this, they read more and they enjoy rewarding experiences and enhanced cognitive development, leading to more reading, which continues the entire process in an upward spiral. Now, for poor readers, this is quite the opposite. They experience unpleasant and unrewarding reading experiences. They lack exposure to print. They lack confidence and self-esteem. They become uninterested in reading. They miss out on cognitive development benefits of reading. And this continues in a downward spiral, which is extremely difficult to overcome unless help is provided. Now you can see this diagram here in this slide, where you can see the blue line is where the poor reader stands, and the progress is going down every day. Whereas the red line, where you can see the child who is a good reader right from the early age of is his or her life, they are progressing positively every single day. Now this upward and downward spirals have important implications in children's development and academic achievement. Now poor readers who lack practice and exposure to reading will continue to struggle with reading and decoding. And as a result, their ability to pull meaning from what they are reading is hindered. Because the child is totally focused on recognizing the words, reading the words, pronouncing the words. because they are not good, confident readers. So for them to understand what they are reading is actually not possible. That second step doesn't come into that child's life. Now, a good reader is quite the opposite. Their reading is fluent, their decoding is efficient, and very little brain power and focus is needed for the process of reading. Because reading is like a second nature to them. It is a very automatic process for these learners. And as a result, more focus and energy is devoted to reading comprehension, to understanding the meaning of what they are reading instead of the word recognition task. Now, why am I emphasizing here on developing this vital skill of reading comprehension is because a child who is in their UKG, in their senior KG years, and once they enter grade 1, the learning challenges is huge. Okay, because what they were expected to do in their UKG and what they are expected to do in their grade 1 has a lot of gap. Okay, schools, they expect the child to leap right from their UKG to grade 1. And if the child does not have the required skills to cope up the reading and learning challenges in grade 1, they would really struggle. And a lot of times, parents ask me that, sir, we never had, reading through phonics that you are going to teach us. Then why? And we did fairly well in our school days. Then why is the child today expected to learn to read with these methods? My simple answer to this question is that when we were studying back 10, 15, 20 years, we were expected to memorize a set of question answers, and we were expected to just pen down, just copy that, and just vent that out on our answer sheets. So the assessment that was done 10, 15, 20 years back was purely on the basis of how much can you remember and express yourself in your answer sheets. Whereas now, the child has a totally different approach in their school. They are assessed based on how much they can understand, how much they can analyze, how much they can problem solve. It is no more about how much they can rote memorize. So children today in grade 1 are expected to solve reading comprehension passages. They are expected to write compositions, creative writing, narrative writing, picture talk, picture writing, and so many other activities which really requires the child to have an amazing reading comprehension skill, which is basically to understand and comprehend what they are reading. Now, if the child is not a good reader, not a confident, fluent reader, for them to comprehend the text, what they are reading, is impossible. All right. And that is the reason why a child really needs to develop amazing reading skills along with reading comprehension skills right from the early age of their life. Now, the question is, why are schools failing to teach your child to read? Now, I have no agenda against school, okay, because I've been a teacher for the last 12 years. I've worked as a teacher in school, okay, but this is the fact, this is the truth, that most of the schools today are failing to teach your child learn to read. Now, the answer to this, the reason behind this is basically a lot of schools are teaching to learn to read children with this concept or method called the whole language or sight word method. Now, the strategies of these method, of the method of sight word or whole language, are already proven to be ineffective confusing and redundant to learners. This is what we used to do 15, 20 years back. Okay, and this method is outdated and it doesn't work anymore. Now, the problem with this approach, where children are asked to memorize words, it involves a child to read by memorizing the word shapes. So the child has to see a word and they have to actually memorize the word shape. Okay, and many a times schools are also expecting the child to memorize the spelling for that word. Now, a child can memorize 50, 100, 200, 500 words. But in the English dictionary today, there are more than 171,000 words that are currently in use. And it is literally impossible that I can make my child a champion reader with this method of sight word or whole language, where I'm expected to make my child memorize 171,000 plus words. All right. Now, what is the reason that this method is ineffective and redundant? Now, English is an alphabet-based language which comprises of different letters or combination of letters, which when come together, they form words. Now, when you teach a child learn to read English with the sight word or whole language method, you are trying to teach an alphabet-based language such as English as if it were a character-based language such as Chinese. I'll give you an example to simplify this. Now, in the Chinese language, the characters are graphic symbols. So you can see in the example below, ni hao. Okay, it is written in the Chinese language where you can see graphic symbols there, which means hello in English. Now, a person learning Chinese, they have to memorize hundreds and thousands of such graphic symbols if they want to become, fluent and confident readers with the Chinese language. And perhaps this is the reason why Chinese language is one of the most difficult languages to learn. Okay, because it involves a lot of memorization, rote memorization based on graphic symbols. All right. Now, when you are teaching English, which is an alphabet-based language, with the method or technique which is applicable for a character-based language such as Chinese, obviously this is totally absurd and you are bound to fail. And that is the reason why this method is not going to help you teach your child learn to read. It may give you initial results, till the time the child is memorizing limited words, 20, 30, 50, 100 words, but that's it. A child cannot be a confident reader where he is expected to read and spell any long, complex, unknown words that they come across. And this is not possible with this method at all. Now, the other problem with this method is that the child has to memorize the word shapes. Okay. And this involves relying on visual cues, what the child sees. There is a lot of guesswork that happens, and the child also skips a lot of words. So if you observe a child who has learned to read with the sight word method, they do a lot of guesswork. Okay, when they come across new words which they have not learned before, they tend to skip those words as well. All right, so their skill level is very limited with this approach. Now, to make things worse, there are so many words in the English language which looks very similar in terms of their word shapes, but they have different pronunciations. So let's take a few examples: well, will, wish, and with. Now, if you observe, all the four words have different pronunciation, but if you look at the word shapes, they are pretty much the same. So there is a high chance a child getting confused between well and will, wish and will, or wish and with, and so on. Similarly, if you see the next set of words, curb, cunt, cart, cash, again, different pronunciation, but the word shape is exactly the same. And there are hundreds and thousands of such similar look shape words having different pronunciation. So with so many similar shaped words having different pronunciation, this is only going to lead a child to be confused and frustrated. Now, my question to you is, do you really want your child to face and experience confusion or frustration by making them learn and memorize hundreds and thousands of such similar shaped words? As a parent, I wouldn't want my child to experience this. No way at all. And I expect the same answer from you as well, right? So what is the approach? What is the method where your child does not have to memorize hundreds and thousands of words, and they can still be fluent, confident champion readers and spellers? And that is where the phonics super reader workshop comes into picture. Now this program, this reading program that we have created 9 years back, it can help any child of any age to learn to read and spell. So it doesn't matter how old your child is. Okay, if your child is a young toddler, a 2-year-old, 3-year-old toddler, if they are a preschool going child, if they are in primary or secondary school, it doesn't matter at all. This reading program works for children of all ages. Now, a lot of times, conventional wisdom says that you need a method A for a particular age group, and then you need a method B for a particular age group, and you need a method C for a particular age group, which is not true with this program. So what works for a 2-year-old child will also work for a 50-year-old adult alike. There is no difference at all. Okay, now why is this? Because in essence, what we are teaching children is to convert the squiggly looking symbols that they see while reading. The text, the words, the sentences that they see are nothing but sounds. So what we are teaching the child is to convert these texts into sounds through effective decoding strategies. Okay, so the child does not have to memorize any words by their word shapes. Okay, that is not needed at all. All right, so in essence, we are just teaching them to convert and decode the text into their sounds. That is all we are going to do in this program. Sounds very simple, right? It is actually simple. All right. So the question is, why do you have to teach your child learn to read early? Now, the fundamental exercise of reading for meaning becomes critical for children when they enter grade 1, where they are expected to read to learn. Now, as the child progresses through school, the complexities of learning increases. And there is a greater and greater demand on the child to use their reading skills to understand, to analyze, and to problem solve. So it is not about learning to read anymore. It is now shifted to reading to learn, reading to understand, reading to comprehend. Now, even hardworking and motivated students will experience difficulties in their schoolwork if they are not able to read confidently before they enter grade 1. And I always tell parents that your child should be a fluent, confident, champion reader and speller before they enter grade 1. Because as I mentioned earlier, the gap, the learning challenges that they have in UKG and in grade 1 has a lot of gap. And if your child is not, if they don't have the skill set in grade 1, they are really going to struggle. Okay. And as I said, when they enter grade 1, the one important skill that they need is the reading comprehension skill. Now, to develop superb reading comprehension skill, your child needs to develop 2 more skills. One is amazing word recognition skill, where they can read any word that they come across. And second is average to above average vocabulary. So when they develop these 2 skills, they automatically work and develop on developing amazing reading comprehension skills. Now, in our reading program, we are taking care of all these 3 skills. A child would be an amazing, confident reader. So their word recognition skill would be amazing. Second, they would have an amazing vocabulary, because in our reading program, we are making the child read more than 6,000 plus words. Just imagine your child's vocabulary, 6,000 plus words. So obviously, if these 2 skills are developed, they would have amazing reading comprehension skills. Okay, and that is what your child requires when they enter grade 1. So if you are a parent of a child who is already in grade 1 or above, okay, it's late, but it is never too late. You really need to step in right now and take charge of your child's future, okay, until it's very late. So what is our method? Okay, so a lot of times parents, they ask me, what is that you teach? What is your method involved? Okay, now the single best teaching method is the incredible combination of teaching synthetic phonics and phonemic awareness development. So our entire reading program is based on these 2. And I refer to these as the 2 pillars of learning fluent phonetic reading. The combination of synthetic phonics along with phonemic awareness development is so incredibly powerful that you can achieve phenomenal results with children and adults alike. And I believe that this is the superb combination, okay, and it's by far the best and most effective method for teaching reading and spelling skills. And this is not only from my experience, and I'm not saying this because this is my program, but countless of studies have proven it to be so. So there have been a lot of research studies and real life experiments that have happened, which proves that these 2, synthetic phonics along with phonemic awareness development, are by far the best and most effective method that you can implement to teach your child learn to read and spell. Now, this method is totally opposite to the sight word or whole language method, where the child has to not memorize any words at all. Okay, so unlike the sight word method, where the child is expected to memorize hundreds and thousands of words, this method is quite the opposite. And the beauty of this program is it only requires 10 minutes of your time each day for the next 4 to 12 weeks. It's not going to take months and years long for you to teach your child learn to read. Rather, you are also not expected to sit with the child hours and hours long. No. 10 minutes a day for the next 4 to 12 weeks is what is required to implement this step-by-step method and approach that I'm going to share with you over the next 2 days. All right. So I am expecting you to see you live for both the days. If you really want to make the best out of the workshop with the investment that you've made with us, with the time that you're going to invest in the workshop, I would really advise you, I would request you to attend the sessions live. If for some reason you're not able to attend the live session, you will be getting the recordings for the same, but you are going to miss out on the opportunity to win daily prizes and bonus learning material which is worth thousands of rupees. So the choice is yours. Okay, make time, make sure that you attend both the days live, and we are going to be live at 6 p.m. all right, for both the days. 2 hours, 6 to 8 p.m. is what I'm expecting from you as your child's parent. All right. And I'm going to see you live in the evening. Till then, have a great day. See you. Take care. Thank you. Bye.